in a week or two, and I think of all the incarnations of me that have been between no hair, small, big, um, being single, not being single, and all of the things that technically one would, like being a daughter, being a sister, being all these things, and how none of them relate to me and my I. And I find that really powerful. And it's something I like to believe, that we're all the same in different disguises, because there is a universal way of understanding one another. And for me, it's been learning about emotions, and everybody, and more importantly, about meditating. I really liked when Chan said the asking asking Buddha, and that was when everybody turns that way, then that's what is. I'm not explaining it very well, but I was very moved by what he was saying. And um, I know that no matter, I love being able to see, and I wonder what would happen if I couldn't see, if I couldn't hear. Who would I be then? And meditating helps me establish who I am, I think. I really enjoyed that talk, and thank you very much. That's all.
Okay. Thanks, Anna, for sharing that. So one thing that I did want to mention about, there was something said about karma and these births and deaths and these constant lives towards the end there. And this is very much a kind of cause and effect. So a moment-to-moment birth and death. This self-experience, and I think you spoke to it quite directly, this self-experience that we're having in Buddhism, and specifically Zen, we don't really consider that there is this consistent, cohesive, connected entity or being, this constant self that was born as a baby and then, is going to die at some point in the future. But rather that moment to moment, this self, this experience is coming into being, and coming into being in all kinds of different realms. And dependent on how attached you are to the conditions that you're in, and also how skillful or unskillful you are moment to moment in how you engage with your life, that's going to bring about a certain experience. So if you act in a very unskillful, unwholesome way, it's very likely that you're very attached to conditions. It's very likely that you're going to find yourself reborn, so to speak, or coming into being in a realm that is dark and suffering and hellish. But when we talk about finding the true self, it is this nature that is not dependent upon outside conditions, but rather is that which permeates and is underneath all conditionality, all conditions. This awareness, this quality of being, not conditioned, non-conditioned being, we can say. And that's what we work with, that's what we step into in our meditation. So we feel those moments of, well, we're just breathing, we're just aware, we're not having this kind of sticky experience. But then immediately we feel it again. That stickiness, that conditionality, that holding on to thoughts, and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. But our meditation practice is that we're aware of that, we feel that, we get wrapped up into that, and then we kind of bring ourselves back to this non-conditional self, this true self that is at the heart of our being, this awareness. And so, whatever we're doing, whether it's coffee, whether it's waking up and, oh, how miserable, I've got to deal with things, or what am I going to do? Underneath all of that is this quality of awareness, this quality of presence that is a non conditional self, your true self. And so, awakening or enlightenment in Buddhism, in Zen, is about seeing that nature, seeing that which is fundamental, that which underlies all of the conditioned, changing reactivity that we're so often involved with. Okay, so we have Ava. Ava, you have a question. Could you share with your voice? Is that all right? Could you ask with your microphone?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, so uh kind of going back to what you were saying about letting kind of circumstances or people who you're surrounded by affecting who you are. I kind of see that I have an issue where, I'm in school still. Well, not right now, but I'm still going through my school education system, and I have to be around these people, 5 days a week who I don't necessarily mix well with. And, I try my best to put up like kind of a mental barrier because I know, like, this energy doesn't mix with mine. It's not worth my time. I don't want to let this affect me. But uh, past a certain point, I feel like sometimes the circumstances of having to be around these people every day does affect me and my personal learning process and stuff. And, now it's summer and I see again that, I'm really starting to get back to myself. And in the pandemic, when I was at home for a year, not surrounded by these people, I also felt like, wow, like I really feel like myself. I'm so happy. I'm so at peace with who I am, But then I go back to school and I have to be surrounded by these people and even like maybe teachers who I don't agree with, And I just maybe if you have any advice on how to not let that prevent any, growth and personal learning that, I may encounter. Because I know people say, like, oh, like after school, like I really became myself. But I don't want to just anticipate a future of growth. I want to start growing now, if that makes sense.
Right. Thank you, Ava, for your question. So, in some sense, this is what Shifu Sheng is speaking about. And, how I will speak on it now is that when we are totally reliant upon our conditionality, those ideas that we have about ourselves, those thoughts that we have about ourselves, um, we're subject to this person and that person. We're subject to this condition and to that condition because we're constantly relying on what we imagine to be ourselves, what we imagine to have possession over, but we don't possess it, we don't control it. So, what I recommend to do is to deepen your relationship with your true self, which is not conditional, which is not based on those other people, those surroundings. So when you get into meditation, when you get into turning towards and developing the relationship that you have with your nature, with your awareness, rather than the thoughts, words, and phrases, the constructs that you're kind of managing and dealing with, as you deepen that relationship, you can go back to it when you find yourself in conditions that are not suitable for you. They don't represent you. And so instead of becoming confused and instead of worrying about, well, how am I going to change this situation so that it aligns with who I want to be or what I want, you just go back to your awareness, to your nature. And you take those difficulties, you take those kind of invitations to being aware and taking responsibility for your life, to be with your awareness, to be with your moment-to-moment experience rather than this idea of yourself. And so then those difficulties can become a kind of encouragement, a kind of reminder of, who are you really, right? And what do you really want to embody in the world? And those difficulties and those distractions and those people become teachers for you. They set boundaries for you. They set reminders that, oh, I don't really want to be like that. Oh, I really need to be with my nature. I need to be with my awareness right now. I shouldn't get involved with that. And that's something that we can do in any situation at any time. But we have to take advantage of the moments that we have that are suitable, that are appropriate. Because if we only lean into our practice, if we only rely on our practice when difficulty arises or when the conditions and the situation is not suitable, it's going to be very difficult to practice. So it's taking advantage of situations like now to really turn inward, to really be with your awareness and your presence and your brightness. And then you bring that inner relationship to all aspects of your life.
Thank you.
And it's important to be cognizant of the fact that we can really do this. We can really wake up. We can really improve. Maybe improve's not the right word, but our mind can become deeply more compassionate, vividly more robust and peaceful and aware. We can totally transform the relationship that we have with our mind and with our body and with our ideas about ourselves. And a lot of those ideas about ourselves that previously basically defined us and were these points of depression and anxiety and fear and boundaries or barriers from us to engage in life become this kind of this spark, this encouragement, this liveliness, that we remember that thought that doesn't define us, that's not who we are. We remember that boundary, right? But then we also have this vivid, direct experience that that boundary, that thought that we have about ourselves, that's not who we are at all. It's not. And the more that we practice, the more that we connect with teachers, Shifu, Sheng, there's many teachers. There's I'm in a role of a teacher or a facilitator, but Thich Nhat Hanh, Sadhguru, there's many people. As we connect with the teachings, as we connect with a practice community, and really as we turn inward regularly to connect with our nature, our awareness, to practice our meditation, all this starts to come together. And it can really be a game changer, for sure. Okay, so I think what we will do now is the fun part. So don't go anywhere just yet. We've been going for, I'm not sure how long, but probably about 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So let's take a moment to perhaps take a bathroom break or to adjust your posture. And when we come back, we're going to do the fun stuff. We're gonna practice meditation together. We're really gonna step into it. So let's take just a minute or two to take a bathroom break or to adjust your position, and then in one moment we're going to get back and we're going to practice together. Okay? The fun part is just about to begin, so don't go anywhere just yet. So in Buddhism, we have three jewels, these three diamonds, these three infinity stones of Buddhism. And that is the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. So what's this about? What's this Buddha? What's this Dharma? What's this Sangha? Well, they are the encouragements, they are the ways and means of taking care, of waking up, of establishing peace in our lives. And they're all quite essential. Community, meditation, and teachings. Buddha, Sangha, Dharma. So when we have these three jewels together, when we rely on the Buddhist community or Buddhism for these jewels, we can call ourselves Buddhist. But what does this mean in practical terms for our lives, for our practice? It means exposing ourselves and tasting the teachings. It doesn't have anything to do with religion, doesn't have anything to do with spirituality or these kind of big, complicated ideas, but tasting the sweetness of wisdom. People who have spent decades upon decades cultivating compassion, introspection, looking into the very nature of mind, the nature of the self, the nature of the world. How do I take care of myself? How do I live a life that is overflowing with peace and joy and calm? People have done that work, and they've written books, and they give talks, and they have teachings that we have access to. So it is to taste those teachings, to connect with them. It's also to be a part of a community. We don't practice alone, we practice alone together. So being a part of a community, having relationships with other practitioners, this really encourages us, this really helps us to make our practice a part of our lives. Not just something that we do offhand, not something that's kind of a side gig, but something that is a part of our life in a very fundamental way. And to have relationships that are built on practice, not relationships that are only built on work or making money or getting something out of someone, but relationships that are very much built on practice and on the teachings as well, compassion and wisdom. So having that Sangha, having that community. And finally, it's to practice. It's to turn inward. It's to be with our breath. It's to be with our body. It is to show up to our moment-to-moment life. That is exactly what we are doing here. So we've listened to the wisdom. We've seen the wisdom and the teachings. We are in community. We are practicing together. And now it's time to be alone together. Not alone, not practicing alone, not some obscure thing that we're doing, but to really practice together, to be empowered by the community, to be empowered by the teachings, and to use all of that to make this seed and this intention to practice robust and vivid and empowered, right? So let's take a moment here to get into our meditation position. It's okay if you're sitting in a chair. No yoga is needed, but just take a moment, make sure you're comfortable, that you're upright if possible, so you're kind of in a alert position. Having your feet flat on the ground if you're sitting in a chair is a good idea. Your back somewhat straight, your shoulders back, your head up. And we are going to begin with our meditation by focusing on our breath. So bringing our focus, our mind, our attention, and placing it onto the breath. Following the breath, feeling the breath as it comes in deeply and richly in through the nose and goes out. Breathing in through the nose, going out. The breath coming in and going out. As we breathe in this way, allowing the mind to settle to the body. Breathing and feeling the presence of the body. Breathing as an anchor point. So for our meditation, all we have to do is breathe. Place our sincere attention onto the breath, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, and out. So our practice here is to breathe and be aware, to notice, to be with. There is a certain quality of the mind that we notice, a certain quality of the body that we notice. It may be pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. No judgment, no chasing, no trying to change. Simply noticing as we breathe what our experience is like. Breathing and noticing. Whenever you find yourself in a place of confusion or distraction, simply remember that your practice right now is not to get or to get rid of, but to just breathe. To just breathe and be with whatever you're experiencing. And at any time, if you get distracted, if you get caught up in something, at that exact moment, you are meditating. So get distracted, get caught up, get off track, and return back to the breath. Sitting and breathing alone together. Beginning and ending with the sound of the bell. Just breathing, relaxed, but also aware. No need for struggle or confusion. Breathing in brightness, attentiveness. Breathing out, letting go, relax. Just breathing, just being aware. we are having any particular difficulty in our meditation, we can experiment with our way of breathing. So if one way isn't working, maybe try to breathe a different way that helps to calm or helps to brighten, depending on your condition. Meditation is sincerity, experimentation, and exploration. No sense in struggling. We're not trying to get anywhere, not trying to get away from anything. Breathing, being aware. For a few more minutes. For the last few minutes of our meditation, we'll stay in this kind of sincere, contemplative space, this space of breathing, being connected with our bodies, but we will move our practice into something called metta. Metta is this cultivation, planting seeds of loving kindness, of good intentions into the deep heart, soil of our minds. It's very simple to do, but it is a powerful powerful practice. And it's something that we can only meaningfully do with our mindfulness, with this concentration that we develop in our meditation. So repeating after me with all of your sincerity, heart, and intention, these words of loving kindness towards ourselves. And as we say them, it's also we're learning what it sounds like, what it feels like to approach ourselves in this way, to plant these kinds of seeds. So each time is new and fresh, sincere, and full of heart. Repeating after me. May I be kind and peaceful. May I take care of myself to the best of my abilities. May I be compassionate and gentle towards myself. May I be compassionate and gentle. May I be peaceful. May I approach difficult situations with compassion. May I be gentle and patient. And as we chant these words or express these words, also feeling the space that is present. May I be kind and patient. May I be free from sorrow. May I be totally free of confusion. May I be totally free from confusion. May I be free from confusion. May I be free from problems. May I be free from difficulties. May I always meet with success. May I also have patience, courage, and determination. To meet and overcome inevitable difficulties, problems, and failures in life. May I live a peaceful life. So for a moment we can breathe and we can feel this energy of metta, this energy of loving friendliness towards ourselves. To be with that feeling in the body, that feeling of metta, that feeling of loving kindness towards ourselves. And as we feel loving kindness embodied, as we close our meditation, I invite you to join your hands together with me, if you like, out of sincerity, consideration, and we will end our practice together with sharing the merits or sharing this metta, these intentions with all beings. You can repeat after me if you like. May all beings be happy and peaceful. May my practice, study, and community support peace in my life. May I share the peace in my life with all those around me. May all those around me be happy and peaceful. May they be free from suffering. May they be happy and joyful. May all beings be free. May it be so. May it be so. May it really be so. So now we can all bow to each other and bow to ourselves as well for our practice. It's a kind of expression of consideration, of appreciation, of sincerity, nothing more than that, really. So today, just to wrap up, we listened to some Buddhist teachings. We had a bit of discussion and sharing with the community, and we finished with meditation. So I want to thank everyone for joining in this event today, this community coming together, this practice. Be grateful, be appreciative towards yourself, and also everyone else who participated. I certainly am. And bring this practice, this meditation, into your life as a whole. And allow yourself, having done this practice, to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more mindful, a little bit more gentle today as you take care of, as you move into whatever it is that you're doing next. Okay? So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We will have a similar kind of thing tomorrow at the same time. And for now, I will end the live stream on YouTube. And if anyone wants to stick around and ask some questions or just to talk after our community practice, you're welcome to do so. I'll stick around. But that is the formal ending of our event for today. All right? So thanks for joining.
Thanks, Paul.